Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're heading to South Africa.
That's right. And we're guided by some really rich personal source material you, our listener, shared with us.
Yeah, it's quite a collection. Memories from, border crossings, deep connections, the whole lot. It promises a really unique deep dive.
Absolutely. It's fascinating.
So, our mission, as always, is to dig into these key moments from your South African experiences, pull out the insights.
And I'm here to help piece that together, maybe add a bit of context. Should be great.
Okay, let's jump in. So, the South Africa part of your travels came right after Zambia.
hmm
And just getting across that border, well, you described it as quite the adventure.
Yeah, ending with finally getting that visa. It sounds like a story in itself.
It really does. Speaks to the determination needed right from the start, doesn't it?
It throws us straight into the realities of that kind of travel, the hurdles you have to jump, but also that feeling when you manage it. Getting the visa wasn't just paperwork.
I was like, okay, the South Africa chapter begins.
Exactly.
So you arrive in Johannesburg, and there's this 2-week rest period.
Within the local Indian community.
Right. You called it a welcome respite, a place with familiar customs. That must have felt really grounding after the journey.
Oh, definitely. We all need that sometimes,
Yeah.
right? Especially when you're somewhere totally new.
Yeah.
Finding that pocket of familiarity, shared culture, it can be really restorative.
What really struck me, though, was something you mentioned even during that quieter time.
What's that?
You said there was a surprising amount of interest in your arrival.
Oh, yeah.
From really diverse groups, Westerners, Black Africans, Indians, all curious. What do you think was behind that?
That is interesting. Maybe. Maybe your arrival was just something different. A break from the norm, perhaps, in terms of the usual social interactions back then.
Could be.
Or maybe it tapped into just a basic human curiosity.
Yeah.
Something that goes beyond those societal divisions that were obviously very strong.
Or perhaps a sense of anticipation, like what's this person brewing, what's going to happen?
Possibly. It's a compelling detail.
But Johannesburg, it seems, was really just a staging post
Right.
towards what you called the next pull of destiny.
Which was heading south to Cape Town.
Exactly. To get ready for Maharajji's arrival, that phrase, pull of destiny, it suggests a real sense of purpose, wouldn't you say?
It really does. It lifts it beyond just, I need to get from A to B. It implies this strong inner feeling like you had to be there, moving towards something important.
And Cape Town itself, wow, it sounds like it had its own surprises waiting, starting with where you stayed.
Nigel Fairhead's place, right?
Yeah, a 17th century church house. You said it had unexpected history and charm, staying in a repurposed church. That's quite something.
Absolutely. Imagine the history just soaked into the walls there. It adds another whole dimension to the experience, doesn't it? A link to the past while you're living in the present.
And Nigel and his mate, you said they were great hosts.
Created a haven by the sea.
That really highlights how important those personal connections are when you travel.
Oh, for sure. So often, it's the people, isn't it? They turn a location into a warm memory. Their hospitality gave you a secure base for everything else.
Then you talk about Cape Town's geography, that specific spot where the Indian and Atlantic Oceans meet.
Ah, yeah. What a powerful image, that convergence.
It feels symbolic somehow.
It really does. The kind of collision of these two massive forces of nature. Maybe it mirrors how different experiences and people were coming together in your own journey right then. It speaks to the energy of the place.
And it was there in Cape Town that you reconnected with Chris Parker.
The surfer friend, yeah, from years before.
Right. And what's just amazing is you said after 4 decades of no contact,
40 years.
it was like no time had passed. You described those kinds of bonds as being etched into the soul's very fabric. What allows that, do you think? How do some connections just endure like that?
That's a deep question, I think. Maybe some connections are just formed on a different level, perhaps based on shared values, or a really profound understanding that doesn't actually need constant upkeep,
Like they tap into something fundamental.
Exactly. Something core within us.
So Cape Town's the setting. The focus shifts to getting ready for Maharajji's visit. But here's a detail that blew me away.
Go on.
You, 19 years old at the time,
Incredible.
giving talks on self-knowledge at the local university. What kind of things were you sharing?
That is remarkable. Wow. It shows a certain depth and confidence, I suppose, to be sharing that at such a young age. Maybe the talks were about, inner reflection, meditation practices, perhaps philosophical ideas that maybe resonated with students looking for meaning.
And apparently the university, the students, they were remarkably receptive.
Curious, yeah. They even gave you a classroom.
That level of openness, it's quite striking, isn't it?
It really is. It suggests a real intellectual curiosity there, maybe a desire for perspectives outside the standard curriculum. Provided classroom shows they genuinely valued it.
And then when Maharajji did arrive and gave his talk,
The whole student body turned out.
the entire student body, that just speaks volumes about the anticipation, the impact his presence had.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
Underscores the pull of his teachings, how they resonated with so many people there, enough to fill the main hall.
Now, the time you actually spent with Maharajji in Cape Town, you remember it as great and precious.
Uh-huh. And made more intimate because it was just you and Gary Gerard as the only Westerners present.
Exactly. That must have created a very unique atmosphere.
Definitely. With such a small group, the interactions probably felt much more personal, more direct.
Yeah.
Fosters a stronger sense of, shared experience. Less formality than you might get in a bigger crowd.
And then you describe this moment of rare intimacy, a private conversation with Maharajji in his room,
Right, where he spoke about his father, Sri Maharajji.
and the whole lineage of wisdom.
Yeah.
What do you feel the significance was, him sharing that personal history with you then?
It feels like a moment of mentorship, maybe. Passing on a legacy. By sharing his own roots, the lineage he came from, he was perhaps offering you a deeper context for his own teachings, showing where it all came from.
And right after that, this really personal gesture.
The magazine.
Yeah, he gave you a magazine from England with his discourse in it, but the really special part is what was on the back.
Ah, yes. His signature, St. G. Maharaj,
And a hand-drawn map.
of his old school in Dehradun.
That map, it feels incredibly personal, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. I mean, the signed discourse is meaningful, obviously, but adding a hand-drawn map like that, it's a glimpse into his own history, his childhood. It's a gesture that goes beyond just teacher-student. It feels much more like a personal connection.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. A big highlight you mentioned was the visit to the Cape of Good Hope.
Seeing the oceans merge again.
Yeah, witnessing that immense power and beauty, you called it. What was it about that specific spot, do you think, that resonated so much?
Well, the Cape of Good Hope has always had this huge symbolic weight, hasn't it? A point of transition, meeting of worlds, seeing those two vast oceans crash together. It probably just evokes this sense of awe.
Interconnectedness.
Exactly, and the sheer scale of nature there, it can be profoundly moving.
And then, this wonderful little story, the race.
Yes, up the stairs.
With Maharajji and Bihari Singh, and you were genuinely surprised, you said, to be easily beaten by Maharajji's effortless grace.
Effortless grace, yeah.
What do you think that little moment showed, beyond just being a bit of fun?
Well, it's a great reminder, isn't it, that vitality isn't just about physical strength or youth, that effortless grace.
Yeah.
It hints at maybe an inner source of energy, something beyond just muscle power.
A sort of subtle demonstration.
Could be that there's more to vitality than just what you see on the surface.
It's a lovely image, and it was caught on camera.
Oh, the South African photographer.
Yeah. A snapshot of connection. Maharajji, Bihari Singh, and you, arms over shoulders, saying, cheese. That must be a treasured photo.
Oh, absolutely. Freezing that moment of shared joy, of camaraderie. It's a tangible piece of that connection you all felt. A visual reminder.
So the journey continues back to Johannesburg. On the flight, Maharajji does this small, sweet gesture.
Passing out Nestle's white chocolate.
It's those little things, isn't it? Those unexpected moments of kindness that really stick with you.
They really do. Simple gestures like that create warmth, connection, makes the whole thing feel less formal, more human, shows a real awareness of others.
Then the final 2 weeks, back in Johannesburg, the house becomes, once again, a center of convergence.
Right, daily gatherings.
Of people from, and this is key, all races, colors, and creed. Westerners, Black Africans, Indians, all coming together. In that context, apartheid South Africa. That's powerful.
Extremely powerful. What do you think drew such a diverse crowd day after day?
That has to suggest some shared purpose, right? Or a common feeling that just transcended those enforced separations.
Maybe Maharaji's presence, his teachings, created a kind of space where those artificial barriers just felt less real.
Fostering a sense of shared humanity.
Exactly.
And here's the bit that really makes you pause. Despite the government enforcing strict racial segregation, you specifically noted that they did nothing to intervene. They just allowed this harmonious coming together to happen. You emphasized such harmony. Why do you think the authorities stayed away?
That is a significant detail. Maybe. Maybe they saw the gatherings as purely spiritual or non-political, so not their immediate concern.
Perhaps.
Or maybe the sheer number of people, the peaceful nature of it all just made interfering too complicated or maybe even undesirable right then. It feels like a subtle kind of resistance, doesn't it? Just by the simple act of being together.
A quiet defiance through harmony.
Something like that.
Remarkable.
Okay, so finally, the departure. Flying back to England with Maharaj Ji. And when you arrive, he says something incredibly powerful directly to you.
What was it again?
Right now, my body is in England, but my soul is in South Africa.
Wow. That's very evocative. It really is. It speaks to such a profound connection he felt, doesn't it? With the place, with the people. It wasn't just a visit. Something deep had taken root in him there.
Clearly.
And you explained you felt this connection came from the openness, the response of the people in South Africa, which led you to that beautiful conclusion.
The soul's true geography is measured not in borders, but in the hearts it touches.
That just perfectly captures the essence of your whole South African experience, I think.
It really does. It hammers home that idea that real connection, real impact, it goes way beyond lines on a map. It's about the human bonds we form.
So looking back at this whole journey, it really was, as you put it, a tapestry woven with moments of grace, connection, unexpected freedom, and the enduring power of harmony in a divided world. What an incredible story.
It's a potent reminder, isn't it, of our human capacity for connection, even in difficult times, and how much individual experiences can resonate.
And with that thought, we turn it over to you, our listener.
Yeah, maybe take a moment to think about a place you feel deeply connected to. Not necessarily famous or geographically dramatic, but somewhere that holds a significant piece of your soul's geography. What specific moments, what connections happen there that might explain that deep resonance you still feel? Something to mull over.
Thank you so much for sharing these incredibly meaningful experiences with us. It's truly been a privilege to explore these memories, the surprising details, the lasting connections from your time in South Africa.
Absolutely.
We hope this deep dive has maybe sparked some new perspectives for you, perhaps a deeper appreciation for the sheer power of human connection.
Until next time.
Keep exploring those connections.